All right, let's go to the hotline. Joining us now to talk a little Major League Baseball playoffs, Dan Fost, author of Giants Past and Present, new book out, The Giants Baseball Experience. Dan, how are we doing today?
Great. We're not as well as we had hoped because I was counting on a Giants win yesterday, so coming to grips with that. But we're playing another one tonight, and we're still feeling good.
Now I got to ask you, going into the game yesterday with the chance to close out the Nats, instead today the same thing can happen, but the Nats can also even the series. How much of that throwing error by Madison Bumgarner changed the series as a whole?
I mean, obviously the momentum can turn on a dime in these series, so I don't know. That was obviously a huge play. I still think Bumgarner was tiring. If he had thrown to first, you've got no runs in, but you've got one out, runners on second and third. The Nats were knocking at the door. I just don't know that yesterday was the Giants' day. And having said that, the Giants have to put some runs on the board, and so that's obviously going to be the key. And you got two big question marks today in Ryan Vogelsong and Gio Gonzalez. But I like Vogelsong's playoff track record, so I think it's going to be I don't necessarily think that this means the Nats come back and storm to the next three wins. I think the Giants are still very much in it.
What about offensively as you look at the matchup with those pitchers on the bump? What offense do you favor today going in?
I mean, obviously the Nationals are loaded. They've got the hitters. The Giants have been, and it's been all about pitching this whole series, as the postseason so often is. But I'm looking for. I'm thinking. I've heard that Bochy's probably going to shake up the lineup today. He may not hit Blanco lead off. We've been praying that he would do that because even in the regular season, Blanco has not been a great leadoff hitter, and now the Giants are facing a lefty for the first time in Gonzalez. So I think if they shake it up a little bit, they can scratch out a couple runs. If Vogelsong is shaky, go to the pen early. I think it's gonna. I would anticipate another low-scoring game.
Joining us here on the hotline, Dan Fost, author of Giants Past and Present, new book out, The Giants Baseball Experience, here on the Tuesday edition of Overtime, ESPN 99.1. Championships in 2010, 2012. How does this Giants team stack up talent-wise to those two?
It's all season long. And once again, at the high points this season, they looked like they could compete with the best of them. They were, they rolled to a 42-21 record at the start of the year. They went on another hot streak at the end, but at times, with the injuries and everything else, they've, they have not quite been up to snuff. So it's a very, once again, a very different team. No one would have expected to see a Tim Hudson and a Jake Peavy in the starting rotation, much less Yusmeiro Petit. Who is that guy, right?
Right.
But on the other hand, I think, so I think we're gonna wait and see how these guys stack up. You've got Buster Posey who's red hot, and can carry a team, and then you've got, just like those other two teams, none of them were filled with superstars. It was all about pitching, good fundamental baseball, and the timely hit here or there from a cast-off or a misfit, a Cody Ross or an Aubrey Huff or some unexpected source. So I think this team is right in that Bruce Bochy mode of the other Giants championships, and it is an even numbered year. So they seem to have enough of a hangover and come back in the even numbered years, 2010, 2012, and now 2014.
Dan Fost joining us on the hotline. Let's switch gears. Talk to me about the other NLDS currently going on. Kershaw going on short rest here in Game 4 as the Dodgers try to avoid elimination. Do you think that's the right decision to start Kershaw on this short of rest?
He's done it before and he's won, but he obviously, the Cardinals also seem to have his number, and it sure smells of desperation. As a Giants fan, I love to see it because
sure.
Especially, knock on wood, if the Giants were to go to the NLCS and face the Dodgers, then you've got Kershaw and Greinke having thrown games 4 and 5 not available for the first couple of games. So I don't know. But then again, it says that Don Mattingly doesn't really have that kind of confidence in the rest of his staff, and Dan Herron, and you got a stud pitcher like Kershaw. But I think historically it's shown it's never, it does take something out of a pitcher, and they're never quite the same. So I personally, don't think it's a smart move on Mattingly's part.
What's your opinion on what we might see from the ALCS, where we have, of course, the Baltimore Orioles and the Kansas City Royals?
You got to love that the two low budget small market teams have managed to knock off the big spending Angels and Tigers. These guys, those teams were loaded, and I love to see the way these other the Royals and Orioles play. So I don't think you can possibly predict it, although it sure seems, especially the Royals, are just fearless going into this thing. They're just, they're running like crazy. They beat the A's, they've swept the Angels. They've got the pitching, they've got the speed and the confidence, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting. That's kind of where I'd be putting my money right now.
Yeah, I can't wait for the excitement of that series, and I think both those markets have been waiting a long, long time to get back to this moment, so should be fun there. Hey, Dan, you got the new book out, The Giants Baseball Experience. The first one was tremendous, Giants Past and Present. Talk to us about what you got going on with this.
Yeah, the new one came out this year, so it's got right up to last season, and it's got a again, it's a big coffee table book, hundreds of photos, pictures of old baseball cards. This one is more of a year-by-year guide, kind of an encyclopedic look, so you can go back and look at your favorite Giants years, and it goes all the way back to the 18th century, New York, all these great teams. I was just, when Brandon Belt hit that home run the other night, I was looking back and saying, where does that rank in the pantheon of great Giants home runs? And there have been a couple of great ones, of course, the Bobby Thompson shot heard around the world, but Mel Ott hit a 10th-inning home run in Game 5 of the 1933 World Series to beat Washington, the Senators that time, and that was the last time a Washington team's been to the World Series, which adds a little, interest to this one. So anyway, it's fun to look back at that history. The Giants have been there for so long, and so many amazing moments that it was really fun to kind of put that together in a linear chronological order.
Yeah, I'm sure as a guy that's been around them for so long, to go back, and we all do that as fans, as we look back, and moments that we maybe just for whatever reason put to the back of our mind comes to the surface, had to be fun to see all that.
Oh, yeah. And there's been so many, again, especially in recent years with these Giants teams, and thinking that the Giants, the Giants of Pablo Sandoval and Buster Posey are doing things that the Giants of Willie Mays and Willie McCovey couldn't even do, to say nothing of Barry Bonds or any of these other great stars that they had. So, they are actually winning World Series for the first time since the Giants played in New York. So it's a lot of fun to watch. We're enjoying the ride out here.
I'm sure you are. Now, where can everybody get the book?
This book it's on all the online bookstores. It's on Amazon, on IndieBound. It's all over. You'd have to be in the Bay Area to find it probably in an actual bookstore, but it's online. I've got a website at giantsexperience.com, so check it out.
All right, Dan, as always, buddy, thanks for the time, man.
Hey, thanks a million, Jeff. It's always great talking ball with you.